I don't know if you guys can see this. If the glare is crazy, they bring this out. A $6,200 check to pay my rent and my car off, made payable to me. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jubar Lewis. I'm an actor out here in Los Angeles, California. I've been out here for almost 9 years. I was a little baby when I first moved out here, and I want to talk about tithing and how it changed my life. Tithing changed my life, and it confirmed to me that God is real. God is real. Tithing is the way to get to him. Being an actor out here in Los Angeles, let's face it, it's dumb. It's stupid. There's enough of us. You're constantly being rejected. You're constantly losing money in the process of being rejected. You might not see a return on the investments that you make, the headshots, the classes, the going to auditions, the paying this and paying that. Being an actor, trying to become an actor is very, very expensive. When I first started, for the first 7 years before I booked anything of significance, I've lost thousands of dollars by going to classes, by getting new headshots, by doing my subscriptions that I need in order to book things. You have no control over what auditions you get. Your agents and managers, if you have one, if you're lucky, if you're blessed enough to have a team that is rooting for you and fighting for you, you have no control of what you get. You have no control of when the casting directors look up your tape, if they're skimming through it. You have no control over if they send it to the producers. You have no control if the producers think that you look like their ex-wife, ex-husband, and they're like, absolutely not. They don't like the tone, your tone of voice. They don't like your hair. They don't like your face structure, anything. You have no control in the career of being an actor until you do. If everything is out of your control and I'm not in control of your own destiny, who is, right? Like that's the question that I ask myself. Who is in control then if I'm not in control of my own destiny out here in Los Angeles? It has to be God. With me, I have to dig deeper. I have to dig deeper of like who God is, right? And it took me a very long time. I started to go to church when I came out here, and I started to learn who God was. It wasn't until this past year that I started actually reading the Bible and actually reading what God is and who God is and how to get closer to him, right? The Bible teaches you the bunch of stories in the book and a bunch of the people in the book who have done similar things that we currently do right now. And they tell you how God and Jesus wants you to live your life. And you apply that. And basically, it's be a great person. Be a giving person. Be an open heart. Be somebody who loves people. That simple. Like to put it into the Bible, that's simple. It's that simple to me. I'm not going to sit here and preach, right? But I really want to talk how tithing has changed my life. And I met God on Thursday. My pastor, Torrey Robert, shout out to Pastor Torrey. What a saint, what somebody who has changed my life through and through. He's someone who got me closer to God. Like I said before, I didn't start my life in church. I wasn't a kid who had to go to church on Sundays. I went to church with my grandparents, but it wasn't until I was older, until I was like, preteen, a teenager, until I was actually just going with them. So God, of course, called me. He called me to want to be with my grandparents on that Sunday and go with them, right? To get up early at 7 o'clock to get to church by 8:30, right? He called me, and I still didn't know who God was. I was just, sure, I'll go. And I think that's where my relationship started, because God was like, I had to go through my growing pains and I had to learn and experience life to figure out when God is going to eventually open up my eyes and open up my journey. I can't preach. I don't want to preach. Let's define what tithing is, right? Tithing is giving 10% of your income back to the Lord. How do you give it back to the Lord is by giving it to your church or giving it to a church. My pastor always tells me and always preaches to the congregation of the church that every time he gets an increase, he gives 10% to the church automatically. It doesn't matter what the amount is. It can be, if he's getting $100, you're going to give that $10. If it's $1,000, you're going to give that $100. If it's $10,000, you're getting that $1,000. You get the gist, right? So he's always saying God needs to see your heart, needs to see every time you get that increase. Money might start getting funny. Once you get that million, you're like, wait a minute, I got to give $100,000. Like, that's a lot of money. No. How do you think you got that? How do you think you got that $1 million? You know what I mean? And who provided that for you? No one does work in order to make $1 million, $1 billion, right? Our labor alone cannot garnish that much money. With that being said, since 2020, I've been tithing to one church, LA, for so long. I've been tithing there of however much money I have and whatever is placed on my heart. So if that's $10, if it's $20, if it's $50, this year alone, 2023, this year alone, I made sure to not skip a beat. If I was broke, which I have been, if I only had an increase of $50, if I'm getting something, then giving it to God automatically, right? If I get $100, I'm giving that to 10%. So I would tithe. I want to show you a screen how much I gave in 2023 and how there's very few gaps in between the weeks. And if I don't have any money, sometimes, I might not have any money to give. I made sure to give it in some way. When I go outside and somebody asks for money, I can give them $1 or so. I can give that. And that is the offering that I give. But the tithe is something I'm giving to the Lord. I've given in 2023 over $3,100 to my church. And $3,100 in a year is a lot. That's a lot. $3,100 in a year, I could pay my car off. I could have paid my car off within a year if I was giving it to myself like that, right? If I was saving that money, I could have placed that $3,100 in so many areas that I'll be debt free. Let me tell you how I was just blessed on Thursday. Thursday changed my life forever. So my church, one church, was doing, it's called a generosity strikes fund that they raise. They pledge $50,000. They're raising like $150,000. And I put a request in because times are hard. I haven't been able to work on anything and make money the way I've been relying on for the past year. What now? I have to go get a job, or I have to rely on the savings from those checks, right? So times get hard, Actors are in almost a month, I believe, of their strike. Writers have been almost over 100 days. If we're not able to work, then what? My church was so generous enough to offer a fund for the entertainment folks of all different things: writers, actors, hairstylists, makeup artists, everybody who's been affected by this strike. I put a request in. I put in my name, I put in my number, my email. You had to put a little message. My message said this: hello, my name is Jabbar Lewis, 26-year-old actor in Los Angeles. Just as things started to get good for me in this industry, I'm trusting in God. This shift is for the greater good. I'm currently behind on my car payments and my rent. One church has blessed me beyond measures. I was baptized at this church. So thank you in advance for everything. So I get a call from the church and he says, hey, we want to help you. And are you going to possibly be there on Thursday? This is Monday. Are you possibly going to be at church on Monday? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll be there early, right? So I showed up at church on Thursday. I'm like, my name's Jabbar. They're like, okay, cool. Let's bring you. And they set me like in a specific area of the church on the right-hand side. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe everybody who's applied, they are just trying to get those people in one area, whatever, right? I came with my good friend, Janaea. And we sit in church, we praise and worship, and we sit down, and Pastor Torre is like, I want to bring up one of our people from the church, Jalen. Shout out to Jalen. He comes up to the church and he's like, well, I want to bring up a member from the church. Is Jabbar Lewis in the audience? And my heart sinks. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And I get up on stage. And, it's like I'm an actor, right? I shouldn't be nervous in front of an audience, right? Like it's normal, right? But I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't prepared for what was going to happen. So I get on stage and Jalen tells the church that Jabbar put in a request that he needed help and blah, blah, blah. I went to his profile and Jabbar has tithed over 100 times plus of all different types of amounts. He tithed right before he put his request in, and then he tithed right after he put his request in. And he also took a picture of his car note, and it said how much his car balance was, of how much he owed still and how much he was behind. So he says we had a conversation between everybody in the church, and it was way over the amounts that we were allowed it to give to one individual. But Jabbar has showed his faith and showed that through tithing, he believed in God. And what we want to do is bless him. And you guys, I don't know if you guys can see this. If the glare is crazy, they bring this out. A $6,200 check to pay my rent and my car off, made payable to me. And the way that the shout in that church, just only thing I can do is just close my eyes. Thank God. And I was so calm in the moment. I was so calm on stage, but also like so still, because it wasn't very surprising to me that this was happening to me. I was very still in the moment because this is what I read in the Bible, in my devotionals. God is the provider. He is the one who blesses you with miracles. So by me being faithful to him for years, since 2020, but specifically this year, of all the amounts I've given, of everything that I've given, right? You've seen the $1,600 I've give, the $50 I would give, the $100, the $400, whatever I would give. And then when the time where I need it the most, in the midst of an actor strike, he comes through miraculously with an amount that I couldn't even think of ever getting. I wasn't expecting anything from me giving back to the church, but for my church to then be like, here's the blessing, here. It's a testament to the faith. It's a testament to why I do what I do. It made sense to me. But throughout the church, once I got back to my seat, I was sitting there and I cried the entire service. The service was so good. Click right there. You can watch it. I don't want to teach. I don't even know. This video is too long already. It has to be a part 1, part 2. So I gave you the story, right? Thank you so much to One Church for doing this. This is different. I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't grow up to know to tithe. You better tithe. I didn't grow up that way. So to be able to call my family and tell them this back home on the East Coast of what happened, and here's what I've been doing in secret. I wasn't telling them how much I was tithing and giving of my money. I wasn't telling them this. And there's been times where I had to go to them and be like, hey, can I get $100 for this or whatever? And they're giving it to me, but they don't know the sacrifice that's behind it all. I don't even think about the 10% of money that I give to the church. I'm not like, I could use that right now. I don't think that way. So to be able to tell my parents and my grandparents what I've been doing and what happened to me at that church, one, I'm like, God, I am chosen. One thing that this confirmed is that everything that I'm doing is going to be multiplied by 100. I believe that I'm going to be one of the biggest actors in the world, one of the best actors in the world. I believe that I'm gonna have the mansion. I believe that I'm gonna have a lot of money. The journey of eradicating homelessness would be because of me. I believe that I can change nations. I can change people's heart. I can bring people to God. I believe that I can turn and be the generational breaker of my family, which I feel like I've already been doing. And this confirmed to me everything that my heart has been desiring. I've been wanting to do social media, but not knowing the direction of it. But the moment I started talking about my faith and talking about my own testaments with God, and those videos started to get attraction and get saved a little bit more than my other content, and started to be shared more out to other people of faith, other people that are chasing dreams, it just confirmed everything that I needed to know. So now I really know my purpose. And the only thing for me is to keep on growing it, keep on sharing, and keep on growing within my faith, and keep on learning and soaking up the knowledge, because I'm not an expert. We are all growing with God and growing within our faith. So it's constantly learning and constantly challenging ourselves and constantly pushing because we have faith in God. My life is forever changed, but we're gonna get into a part 2. The next video is gonna be about why I tithe and how it changed my life. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you for watching this story time. We'll see you in the next video.